Good morning, dear children.
Good morning, ma'am.
Well, this is Kazala Roy, your examiner for the speaking skills assessment. Candidate A, could you please introduce yourself to me?
Good morning, ma'am. I am Apurva Surma from class 11th A, Tagore International School, East of Kailash.
Thank you so much, Apurva. So, Apurva, you are candidate 21A with me. Yes? So, candidate 21A, Apurva Surma. Thank you so much. Candidate B, what is your name?
Good morning, ma'am. I am Manya Makuja from class 11th A, Tagore International School, East of Kailash.
Thank you so much, Manya. So, Manya, your serial number with me is 21B. So, candidate 21B, Manya Malkotia. Thank you so much, Manya. Now, Apurva, do you like your school?
Yes, I
You
do.
do? What is it that you like about your school?
I basically like everything about my school. It's because our school promotes holistic development and that everyone gets an opportunity to explore their full potential. You can see everyone up on stage, everyone doing something or another, and no one goes unnoticed here.
Alright, so you love your school very much. Now, when you pass out from the school, what is it that you would carry with you?
I have a lot of memories that I would love to carry. First of all, I have so many memories having fun with my friends. But there are few memories of my teachers who have really made an impact on me, and I will always remember the teachings that they gave me.
Thank you so much, Apurva. Now, Manya, how do you spend your weekends?
I love to spend my weekend with my family.
Alright.
And we usually go out on early lunches or possibly dinners, whatever time suits us. And we make sure that all of us are together and we go out.
So
Because
do you usually plan them out? Or?
yeah, we definitely do. Like on Saturdays, everybody reach home, they get home early because everybody except me and my sister are working. So we're the only ones at our place.
Alright.
So we plan out our vacation, sort of a vacation because we're, throughout the day on Sunday we're out. So we make sure we complete all the pending work on Friday and Saturday so that we have Sunday for ourselves.
Alright, so you mean to say that you love to be together
Yeah.
every Sunday. Okay, thank you so much, Mani. Now, let us move on to the next round, which is the topic presentation round. Now, candidate A, when you present your topic, you will listen to her, candidate B, and then you may ask her a question after she finishes, after which I would also like to ask you a question. Alright? Now, can we start with you? What is your topic?
My topic is free media, a prerequisite for a functional democracy.
Alright.
I think a true democracy can never really exist without presence of free media. Freedom is one of the most important aspects in a democracy, and the governments that try to curb this freedom take away a very essential right from the people. Sacrificing human freedom is like sacrificing human dignity. Through media, we gain access to various parts of the world. We find ways to connect with each other, and we also gain valuable information about the world that is not within our immediate reach. So it is very essential that the governments not only try to protect this freedom, but also protect these people from harm by various groups who may try to sabotage this freedom in order to promote their own beliefs, interests, and also for their own personal gains and benefits. So it is very important that the government protect these rights. And also it is equally important that the media also understands their responsibilities. It is the responsibility of media to prevent misinformation, to prevent misuse of the freedom that they are getting, and also to prevent forwarding their own views as the truth. Democracy, I feel, is essentially about freedom, and free media is a sure way to guarantee it.
Alright, thank you so much, Apurva. Now, candidate B, Manya, do you have any question for her?
Yeah, I would like to ask Apurva, as she talked about free media, can you give me an example of how the rights of media and freedom of media was compromised in recent times?
Yes. One example that comes to mind is of the recent killings that took place in Paris of the staff members of the magazine Hebdo Charlie. They were Islamic terrorists who were outraged when this magazine published a series of cartoons that made fun of their Islamic prophet Muhammad. And now this also brings to light another issue, that the media should be responsible and careful in approaching the public in such a way that they do not unnecessarily harm their sentiments.
Alright, thank you so much, Manya. Thank you, Apurva. Now, Apurva, do you think that freedom is the only important aspect for an effective democracy?
I feel that freedom is not the only important thing for a democracy. There are also many other things that make up an effective democracy, but it is certainly one of the most important things for a democracy. Freedom is at the core of human society and human dignity, and if that freedom is compromised, then an effective democracy cannot be put into place.
Okay. Thank you so much, Apurva. So, Manya, what is your topic?
My topic is natural capital of India.
Alright. Can we hear you?
Someone once said that India might not be a very rich country, but is the richest when it comes to beauty. I pretty much second this statement because I feel India sets a perfect example of diversity, be it physical or human diversity. To me, India feels like a lot of countries rolled up in one. Not because of its geographical extent, but because of its physical, linguistic and cultural features. The physical diversity is even more worth elucidating. For example, the heavens in the Himalayas, to the peace in Kanyakumari, to the burning arid deserts in west and the dripping rainforests in east. What surprises me is the efficiency of this land to, complement such contrasting features in one. Plateaus, beach, ghats, hills, mountains, name a feature and India serves you with it. It gives you an opportunity to discover yourself, find peace within yourself, and one can even relate to nature. What I could gather is no one in the right mind can easily or seriously contemplate in being competition with something so perfect.
Alright. Thank you so much, Manya. Apurva, any question for Manya?
Yes. I want to ask you, how would you think that this physical diversity of India contributes to the prosperity of the country?
Yeah, Apurva, as we've even learned in geography, the parts of India have different resources in them. For example, if you take up North India, it's like the food bowl of India. So we have a lot of vegetable and agricultural produce there. The Deccan part in the central India has a lot of resources to it. The coastlines, we have ports for import and export of these resources. So altogether, India functions as a factory. One part produces, another part takes and manufactures it, and the rest of the part they import and export it.
Yeah,
so that's how it works.
That was a good explanation. Thank you so much, Mani. Thank you, Apurva. Now, Mani, you just mentioned about human diversity. So could you explain how can India utilize its human resources or diversity to support a country's development?
Like I gave Apurva an example about how a factory runs, you definitely need workers in it, right? And India India has a lot of population. And we have skilled laborers, at very, very cheap prices because of its population and our requirement to employ ourselves in something or another. So for example, like for producing the goods, we need people.
Yes.
For manufacturing it again, we need people. And for exporting and importing it, we need people. So this whole process of physical and human diversity goes hand in hand.
All right.
Both of them complement each other and take India to a very nice and developing path.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mani. Thank you. Now we move on to the next round, which is the problem solving round. Now I'm handing over a card which tells you about a problem. Please go through it. I'm reading it out for you. It says, the food in your school canteen is unhygienic. Discuss with your partner what problems this might cause. What can be done to improve the quality of food served? Now, you'll discuss it aloud and come to a solution. Please do it.
I think the most direct problem unhygienic food can cause is gastroenteritis and other stomach related problems.
And even this might be a very bad problem for the short of attendance in our school.
Exactly.
Which can, generally harm the
People
results.
get sick, then they take leave, and then they miss out on important schoolwork and important lessons.
This can harm their result directly.
It deteriorates their work quality.
So for that matter, we should ensure that the unhygienic food should replace with healthy. No, but I think, Apurva, in our school, we have healthy and hygienic food.
We do, but we need to promote the healthy food more than the junk food. To actually promote health.
Generally, what we see, that junk food gets a little unhygienic
Exactly.
scenes with it. Like for instance, if you have healthy food, you have fruits, right? So you cut them fresh and serve it. But for instance, if you have something like a burger in your school, so you definitely prepare it before and keep it, which might cause a lot of unhygienic activities around it.
And for the matter of unhygienic food, I think we should ensure taking up some safety measures. For example, having gloves, giving the workers glove, and actually barring sick people from entering the kitchen area, and also using mineral water for making
of food,
so that no problem occurs.
Yeah, and what could be done to improve the quality of food served? Definitely, as we've discussed, the person who's serving should be careful about how he or she is serving the food. And even the person who's taking up food should make sure that he or she has washed his or her hand before.
Proper sanitation should be
Because it's not only one person who can cause unhygienic,
sick hands,
because it could be us. We might take it from dirty hands and eat it ourselves and cause problems for us. So it could be either ways, for improving the reasons.
So we need to promote awareness about this issue.
Alright, thank you so much. Now, how would students react if all the junk food is replaced with healthy food in your canteen?
I think
disaster.
A majority of the students, I would say, would be very displeased that the junk food that they actually like eating is replaced with unhealthy food. It is possible that quite a few may be happy that they are getting healthy food itself in the canteen.
The same for a long time.
Yeah, but
it's because of the reason that we get healthy food from our house, but then we approach or we go to canteen because of the reason that we want junk food. But if you replace it with healthy food and things which are equally preferable by everybody, then you might see a very different aspect altogether. Like for instance, if you have milkshakes, different flavors. I personally like milkshake, so I'd rather go for milkshake than going for any soft drink.
Because people have some preconceived notion that the healthy food may not be tasty or something like that.
It can be equally good. Like for instance, if you have rajma rice in a canteen, I love it. So you have to make sure that the healthy food which is present in school is preferable, and everybody loves it. Instead of broccoli and soups, you can have something which is quickly.
Now, if you gave your principal a suggestion about replacing the junk food with healthy food, how would your principal, do you think your principal would agree to it?
Yeah,
and if yes, why?
It's a healthy suggestion. So
it is.
She would definitely.
It is for the benefit of the school?
Yeah, so she would definitely agree.
Alright. Thank you so much. It was nice talking to you.
You too.
Yes, thank you so much. This is the end of your assessment.
Thank
Have
you.
a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.